We're going to talk about training with the great Marcelo Garcia today. So here's my experience starting right now. What's up everybody, my name is Jason Hill. I'm a Jiu-Jitsu Black Belt and I've been training Jiu-Jitsu for over 10 years. I train out of an academy here in Oklahoma City. So if you like this channel or if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button down below. Make sure you also hit the subscribe button. If you like all things Jiu-Jitsu, I do technique breakdowns, I do sparring match breakdowns, I do different Jiu-Jitsu talks and stories like I'm doing today. So if you like Jiu-Jitsu, this is a good channel for you. Also make sure you comment down below anything that you like about Marcelo Garcia or things that you've noticed about him or experiences you've had training with him. Or if you have questions for me, shoot them my way. So why am I doing this? If you followed my channel for any little bit of time, this is the first time I've posted a video talking about training with a specific person. I thought it would be a fun thing to do because not only does it document and get my experience on camera for myself, but these are stories that I tell to my students all the time. They ask me who have I trained with, who's my favorite person I've got to train with, or seminars, or what's it like when you go to this person's seminar. I thought I would share it with you guys as well too. So these are stories that I've told before, nothing that I've hidden, and with that we're going to talk about training with Marcelo Garcia. Also another reason why I'm picking Marcelo first. Why am I picking him first? Because it was the first seminar I ever went to, believe it or not. I'm stay tuned to this video because at the end of the video I'm going to talk about the next Jiu-Jitsu instructor seminar that I went to. They're not going to be in any chronological order. I can't even remember them in order of who I went to, but I can tell you the first one that I went to and I can tell you the last one that I just attended. In between there it gets a little fuzzy. So stay tuned for the end of the video and I'll announce who I'm doing next at the end. Training with Marcelo Garcia, it was back in 2010. I was a white belt. I'd been training Jiu-Jitsu for maybe 8 to 9 months at most. I was 19 years old. I had never done a Jiu-Jitsu seminar. Like I said, it was my very first one. I think I even have a photo of it that I'll put in here. And another fun thing, this is my white belt right here. Yes, I still have my white belt. I have all my belts. You can see how kind of dirty it is. I had Marcelo sign my belt. So right there, I don't know if you guys can read that, but that says Marcelo Garcia and it says 2010 right there. It's pretty faded. That's the only thing I had that he could sign. I guess he could have maybe signed my gi, but I didn't have anything. I didn't have like a photo of him or anything like that. And Marcelo Garcia, I believe his last year of extreme competition was 2011. So this was 2010. So we're getting like the peak height of Marcelo Garcia. He was very well known in the Jiu-Jitsu community. We had a smaller school at the time, but we had a big mat space. So it worked out really well. I think we had almost 80 plus people attending the seminar, which was fantastic. We had everyone from Oklahoma City, we had people from Dallas, we had people from all over come up and attend. I was extremely excited. And the first time that you go to a seminar, you kind of, this is at least me, I thought I was gonna learn these techniques from this guy and I was gonna be like, come out and I was like gonna be able to smash everybody that I sparred with after that, and sadly that's not what happened. Not that the techniques weren't good, but if you guys know, if you're a white belt and you've been to a seminar, if you remember the first one you went to, 99% of the time you barely remember anything you did. I'm going to do a whole video later on talking about things that you should do as a white belt when you go to seminars for the first time. Also how to approach them as an advanced belt. As a white belt, whenever I went to this seminar, I would like to go, I have not done another one. I do remember the concepts that we covered. Butterfly guard sweeps, and we were doing chokes. Those were the focus of the seminar. The only reason why I remember the butterfly guard sweeps that we do is because my instructor, who was a brown belt at the time, also attended it. And to this day, he still teaches that technique because he literally says every time he teaches it that this is how he learned it from Marcelo, and it's a money sweep. It's with the gi. Yeah, I'm not going to give you guys any secrets on it. The next thing I remember is we did a north-south choke. Well, hang on. We did a north-south choke, but the choke was being applied from the bottom of north-south, which is crazy. I still don't know many people that teach that now. I don't teach it. I don't even remember how to do it. He was doing the north-south choke from the bottom, I think at the time I had maybe learned the north-south choke once or twice. I'd probably been put in it a bunch, but I had no idea what it was. Just watching this north-south choke from the bottom was like, what the heck is going on? I don't remember how to do it. It was a weird way he had it gripped. Those were the things that we covered in this seminar. I believe it was a couple hours of each, so it was a good extended amount of time. The next thing that we did is he actually had a sparring section at the end. So after he taught everything, we sparred, and our academy can hold 80 people is pretty full drilling. And so now we're gonna have to spar, and it was pretty packed. Unfortunately, I did not get to spar with him. I was a white belt. I was probably last on the totem pole, and he just didn't want any of my white beltness. No, he would destroy me. He still would destroy me now. I got to observe him rolling with a bunch of other people as well too. The first one he rolled with was the owner of the academy and my instructor Ty. The thing was, especially me as a white belt, and Ty was a brown belt at the time. Ty would absolutely destroy me, and he still does destroy me a lot. He would just destroy me as a brown belt and make me feel helpless and make me feel like I was nothing, as he should as a brown belt and I was being a white belt. But I was just super curious to see him roll with someone else. I had never seen that yet. Marcelo rolled up Ty. I think there's even a video on YouTube literally called Marcelo Smashes Ty. I think I'll put it in the link down below in the comments below. If you want to watch the full video, I highly recommend it. And Marcelo just did whatever he wanted. And no means am I dogging Ty because he's very skilled or whatever, but this is Marcelo Garcia we're talking about. The biggest thing that I noticed was Marcelo was just so smooth about everything. It wasn't like he was forcing everything or, trying to set his dominance. He would let Ty try things, and all of a sudden he would just sweep him with ease and then submit him with ease. It was like in and out. It was so graceful and smooth. It was amazing to watch, because that's how I always think Ty looks when he's rolling with his students, and that's how I see it. And then to see someone else do that to him was like amazing to see. He did that to everybody. He rolled with a bunch of people, and he was doing that to everybody. But one of the biggest things that impacted me early in my jiu-jitsu training was watching, Ty is very smooth as well too. He doesn't have a roughness with his techniques. Some guys are smoother in jiu-jitsu, some guys are a little bit more forceful. But Marcelo, man, the way he just did it was just, everything was effortless. And I remember I was small. I still am small. I'm about 155 pounds right now. So then I was like 135 pounds maybe. I just watched him roll with bigger dudes, and he didn't have to try. It was like he wasn't forcing anything. I just remember to myself, I was like, that's the kind of jiu-jitsu I want. I want it to be smooth and flowy and be able just to handle people who are bigger than you. And that's what he was doing instantly in my eyes. I had watched a bunch of matches of him doing that, but watching it in person is phenomenal. That was the biggest things that I took away from the seminar, as how smooth and how controlled and flowy he was. He was also like the nicest person I have ever met. Sometimes fighters, especially in jiu-jitsu, we have big cauliflower ears, and we have a buzzed head and scratches and gashes all over our faces, and sometimes we're not very approachable looking human beings. Marcelo was not like that. He had this very charismatic voice. He had this big smile on his face. He was always laughing and joking. He wanted everyone to get the techniques right. I mean, he really cared about what he was doing. He wasn't there just to, collect a paycheck. There's unfortunately some seminars I've been to that it kind of feels that way. However, Marcelo was not. He was very much wanting everyone to learn everything. If people had any questions, it was very he was very open to that. Those are some of the things that I really took away from learning in the seminar. I wish I could go do it as an upper belt. A thing that I would have done as an upper belt is I probably would have videotaped myself doing the move, or I could have possibly asked a question that would have made me learn it easier. Two of the things that I always try to do when I go to any kind of seminar or I train with a person is, number one, is I video myself after I do it. And then number two, I ask a question no matter what, even if I know the answer to it. So I don't ask a question every time they do a slice, or like every time they're doing a new thing, but I make sure every seminar I ask at least one question, either while they're teaching or while they're walking around. I'm a firm believer, if you ask a question, like a hack, you can learn it better, because a lot of times if you're having obviously if I have a problem with the technique, I will ask a question, but I try to ask a more of a technical question. Now, I'll ask how do they feel about, how does it connect to this? Or what if the person puts a pressure in this direction? Something that's a little bit that they didn't cover, because what that does for me is it lets me know more ways on how I can use this technique. And if I can put in my brain that I can use this technique in other aspects and other fashions with different cues or different triggers, or they connect with other techniques, it helps me remember it better. As opposed to just asking, well, what if the grip doesn't work? Well, that's great, but that's not really useful. That's not happening right now. And I'll ask, okay, hey, when you grab like this, is it because you're trying to prevent these things, or are you trying to connect it to another thing, or are you moving on to this next piece? And they will give like the next layer deep to the technique that they possibly weren't covering. What it does is it helps you retain it. If you ask the question and they can give it to you, you have their one-on-one attention, you just built a connection with them right there because you asked a question, and that most likely that technique, or at least that portion, is going to stick in your brain better. Not always. That could be just my own pseudoscience, but for me, that's two things I always do. So I always try to record it, and I try to ask a question at every seminar. I wish I would have done that. I didn't. I was like super scared. I was nervous. There was like a bunch of black belts there and a bunch of brown belts there. I was like in the back of the circle. I didn't know what was going on. I was just happy to be there though. I was like so excited to be there. I wish I would have gotten like a prom photo with him, but I didn't. I only got in the group photo. That's training with Marcelo Garcia's story. Look forward to going back and possibly training with him again if I can attend another one of his seminars, or maybe even stop in his school one day. I'd love to do that. But like I told you guys earlier, I was gonna let you guys know the next video and the next person I was gonna talk about. The next one I'm gonna talk about is the great Roy Dean. And I actually have a funny story about how I met Roy Dean and the times I've got to train with him, and my perspective on training with him, and some cool feedback things that I've gotten from him. Like and subscribe to this video, that way you can always know when the next one's coming out. And yeah, everyone stay safe with Corona, and stay healthy. I'll see you guys next time.